Hello again, nerds. It is time for some more reaction videos right here on Generally Nerdy, and really these are ones I've been sitting on for a while that we've talked about on the news show and on other things on the channel, but we just haven't been able to get to, and so now we've got to them. You notice things behind me are a little bit different today. It's because I set up differently. We're trying something new, so sue me. Either way, I appreciate you for joining me. Without any further ado, we have to do this real quick. Before we get any further into this video, let's get a couple of things out of the way. First, if you want to listen to this song or watch this video in whole without my commentary, then go do that. This is not the place for that. This is a reaction and analysis video. We're here for a conversation, not for a watch party. I'm going to be stopping this video, talking over certain parts, and replaying certain parts, so get used to it. Second, my analysis is my opinion. My opinion comes from a place of knowledge. I have over 30 years of musical training and experience, 20 years as a professional musician and producer, and almost 10 years as a video producer and director. I know what I'm talking about. All that being said, we will be discussing the performance of the song by the musicians, production of the song by the producer, and production of the video, should that apply, by the director and anyone else involved. Now, I return you to your regularly scheduled reaction video. Thanks, nerds. All right, so our first reaction for this batch is going to be the Dead South Chop Suey. The Dead South covering Chop Suey. How crazy is this? All right, so I'm going to not forget the sections of the reaction videos because we do them so infrequently. Last time I did the batch, forgot the sections. So first up, my history with the Dead South. Well, a history of listening to the Dead South. I found them because of Tyler Childers. I saw Tyler Childers open up for Jack White. That's what introduced me to Tyler Childers. Tyler Childers then introduced me to this whole world of underground country, backwoods. I don't know what the name of the movement would be proper, but he was my introduction to this world. And actually, technically speaking, Hank 3 was my introduction to this world, but I didn't know anybody else was doing stuff like Hank 3 until Tyler Childers. So started with listening to a lot of Tyler Childers, and that, as algorithms go, it got YouTube saying, hey, you might like this, and you might like that, and you might like this. And so that's how I learned about Benjamin Todd. That's how I learned about Shaky Graves. That's how I learned about the Dead South and a number of other artists. And Dead South is probably at the top of that pack for a lot of reasons, not the least of which being their very unique personalities. Yeah, that's kind of my history of listening to this. I've seen them live. They do a killer show live. It is kind of very similar to the In Hell I'll Be in Good Company video, where it's the four of them pretty much the entire show in line doing things. Not the stuff in time, but yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my history with the band. If we do another Dead South video, we'll do history of the band. But next up is expectations for this. So we kind of have two expectations here. We have one is expectations for the video, and the other is expectations for the song. From the little bit that I have seen, judging by this first frame of the video, I'm anticipating a lot of live footage. I'm also anticipating some behind the scenes stuff, probably something to mimic the original System of a Down video. And as far as video goes, it's probably some backstage, perhaps. I don't know, but it's something that's probably about it for the video. There's going to be some interesting filter things, again, as we are looking at right now on this first frame of the video. But as far as the song goes, Dead South, like I said previously, they do crazy good harmony work. So I am definitely anticipating this being some really incredible harmony. As far as doing like a Americana country version of a metal song, I'm very intrigued by that thought, but I have no idea what to expect from it. The intro is going to sound pretty great because the intro is done on an acoustic guitar. So that, yeah. But from there, I really have no idea what to expect. Aside from, I just really think these guys are going to knock it out of the park. So that being said, also, before we jump into this, I realize the intro is a little out of date. We will be working on a new intro for these, but this batch, though, so for the next 5-6 weeks, where we will be doing a reaction video a week, it's still going to be the old intro, but all of the things I said in the intro still hold true. So that is that. I just feel like there's a smoother way of putting it. Anyway, we're recording like 5 minutes now and haven't even got to the song. So let's get to the song already, shall we?
We're rolling Suicide.
Oh, some green screen work. There we go, live. Mandolin makes sense right there. Dun 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 dun. Wow, okay. All right, so as we're through the first verse, very interesting vocal styles. This is not a band that I am familiar with enough to know the musicians' names, so I apologize. I'm going to have to refer to them as their instruments, but our lead vocalist and guitar player here with the bolo tie. I always dig the bolo tie, especially when a guy can really pull it off like dude can. Anyway, I just, I wasn't expecting him to do a mimic, I guess, of Search's vocal, which was a little interesting. But the interesting thing as far as sonically going, like instruments, the banjo player is the one who does the kick drum, so that's a lot of layering on one dude for this, and he pulls it off well. But I really, really liked the effect of the string noise. I think that when you're working with such a minimalist sound, that every little thing helps and every little thing adds to the experience. And that little bit of string noise, while not a difficult thing to add necessarily, is definitely, it goes a long way. So yeah, I'm really digging that.
You trust in my self-righteous suicide. I cried, and angels deserve to die.
All right, before we get into the next verse, interesting also about the cello. So in the original System of a Down song, 12 Tone has an amazing video about this, but in the original System of a Down song, Chavo's bass is doing things that don't make a whole lot of harmonic sense until you get to the outro effectively of the song. And it's something that always kind of stuck out to me, but I never had the vocabulary to say it out loud until I watched that 12 Tone video. So I do definitely suggest you go watch 12 Tone's breakdown of the original version of this, as well as this and the original version of this. Yeah, I'm very interested to see where these vocals go, though. Ooh, ooh. Oh my. Okay, so we have much more layering here, but they're still focusing all of the instrumentation on the and the green screen work is cracking me up as well. This is something that I did in a band a few years ago because we didn't have any sort of set. We just had a big green sheet, and so we just made something very similar to this actually. Anyway, but the sonics here are expanding, but they're expanding again in a way that's uniquely Dead South and not in the same way that the System song expands. So really cool. It sounds like we've got a little bit of chorus on the cello to kind of fill it out now, where it was just the cello, no effects, maybe some compression or whatever, but no like stylistic effects up until now. So that's really interesting, and the vocals just keep cracking me up. Yeah, that's definitely a chorus. And that was fun. We're gonna go back and listen to that actually. What we're listening to here is the banjo, and that banjo comes in, that accented banjo comes in over the top of it. This is actually, it's definitely two different waveforms. Like it could be the same waveform copied onto another track, but it's two separate tracks, I guess is probably the better way to put it. Two separate tracks, and they're hard panned left and right, though the left sounds like it might not be 100%. It might be about 75%, somewhere in that neighborhood. But the right side's definitely 100% hard pan. And just that, when you're, again, like we've talked about in these reaction video breakdown videos before, when you're mixing a track, you have to think about your sonic landscape, and that is one of the coolest effects for a sonic landscape. Generally speaking, when I'm mixing a song, though, I will use that effect on the drums. Just because when I'm mixing, I like the person who's listening to feel like they're sitting next to or on the drum kit, so that's the focus, the center of the sonic landscape, and then everything kind of moves out from there, except for the cymbals I like to put on the furthest edges of the sonic landscape, and then kind of, that way you have drums in the dead center, and then you also have drums on the rims as well. Sorry, words. So really cool effect with the banjo here. It didn't sound like they double tracked that. It just sounded like they copy pasted the take, but still really cool as you're growing a song, as you're expanding the sonics of this song. It's really cool to hear how they can do that again with such a minimalist sound. Right there. And then it goes back to center. We have two different mandolin parts going, it sounds like. Or is this actually might be the regular banjo part, and the one that was hard panned all the way right was just an accent. Let's go back actually, and we're gonna parse this out real quick. Yeah, that's banjo, that's accent, and that's what that is. Okay, sorry, I couldn't hear it at first, but I totally heard it that time. So the Angels Deserve to Die, the harmony with the instruments, you have the banjo coming in hard panned right, and then on the hard panned left is the cello playing an octave higher than he is, or actually probably 2 octaves higher than he is on the bass part, quote unquote bass part, because now it sounds like it's almost a violin. He's playing it so high, but they're effectively playing the same thing, the second banjo part and the second cello part, this accent that they come in with the hard pan to fill out that landscape. That was really cool. I really dug that. Oh, here we go. Oh my God, he's clipping the microphone. He clipped the microphone. Okay, so this is another phenomenon that I've never actually dealt with, but it's gotta be this, because I don't think he would have clipped the signal. I think he clipped the microphone. Is this where it is? I'll go back one more. So yeah, we'll go back a little bit more because there's a couple of things I wanted to point out. So first off, the cello as bass, coming from an Americana, I know they're Canadian. I realize that Americana is the sound. There's this country Americana underground stuff. A lot of traditional play styles when it comes to playing something like this. The thing that makes it edgy or whatever is, generally speaking, lyrical content, also the capability of them as musicians versus what you get in like we've talked about previously in the news episode, the Nashville Machine. Actually, I think that was in one of the shout out viewer comment videos. So these guys are definitely not part of the Nashville Machine, quote unquote. So they kind of do things by their own rules. And one of those things is very traditional when it comes to how they layer a song. And what I mean by that is, if you listen to In Hell I'll Be in Good Company, yeah, that's the name of it. Sorry, brain farting the title of that track. The bass is Route 5. The old joke, where do all bass players live? Route 5. It's very much a Route 5 kind of thing, which is a old school country thing for bass players to do. In a simple song, it is super easy to do, but then when you get into something a little bit more intricate, like say this, the Route 5 gets really complicated, because there's a reason why a lot of rock and roll bass players just play that root note. So that's the long way of coming around to the fact that he's doing this Route 5 when we get into this very aggressive bridge. Still, again, not really touching on that Chavo melody from the original, which, again, kind of stands out on its own. 12 tones is just a click away. But just the change in aggression, like, that was abrupt and it was very well executed. And then the vocals, that was the second thing that we were talking about with this right here, is the vocals break. Not his voice and not the signal, but I'm pretty sure he's clipping the microphone. So Route 5, I need to go back. I forget sometimes. Some people don't know these terms. Route 5 is the root note of the chord that the rest of the instruments are playing, and then the fifth note of the chord. So it is it's a power chord, effectively. Anyway, so vocals, clipping. So when you clip, a clip is when you send too much information and either the microphone or the signal can't handle it. Generally speaking, and also this is kind of the basis of distortion as well, is a clipped signal. But generally speaking, on a vocal, what you're going to get, because people... I mean, you can set a microphone to be very sensitive, but usually it's pretty easy to get the proper range of sensitivity for a microphone for a human voice. So generally, when you have a clipping issue on a vocal, it is in the signal, which means your recording software, it's a software issue. Your recording software can't receive the data over a certain decibel. There are modern ways of fixing this. 32-bit float audio is the way to do it, and it's a wonderful, wonderful thing. And as that technology becomes cheaper, everyone is incorporating it. But sounds like that is not what happened here, because actually, no, it sounds like that's not the issue here. The other way to clip is there is a diaphragm in every microphone. In vocal microphones, that diaphragm is much more sensitive than this cheapo USB microphone I'm using right now. So what happens is the diaphragm that vibrates to the sound of whatever you're recording, in this case his voice, can vibrate further than it's supposed to, and that clips as well. And clipping is, again, just a way of saying distortion. So, and I'm really breaking this down to it as rudimentary as possible. So what it sounds like, and we're going to go back, that's why we're going back through this section. It sounds like he clipped the microphone, which means he overpowered the diaphragm inside the mic. Again, not super difficult to do on a vocal mic, but generally it's a thing you don't hear a lot. So I'm very, we're going back to this now. Sorry, bird walking.
Angels deserve to die.
Yeah. No, that's a signal. That's not the mic. That's a signal. It's a little too cleaned of a distortion to be, because and again, I haven't heard this a whole lot in my career. I know it's a possibility. I have heard it, especially when I was in school, but it's not something you hear often because generally speaking, you don't push microphones that hard. You get your vocalist to step back, but these guys are not, generally speaking, people who record aggressive music, so I'm sure their producers also had some sort of issue. But yeah, this is it. That's a signal. I don't think that's a diaphragm clip. I think that's a signal clip, which is still kind of funny that they left it in. Probably very much on purpose. I'm not trying to say, oh, I hear something that their producer didn't hear. It's obviously there. There is a distorted sound to his voice, and they had to have left that in for style. So I mean, it works. It's definitely adding to the chaos of the moment. So, and it's only the lead vocalist's vocal part that's clipping. It's not the other vocalist part that's clipping. So we're going to go back one more time and listen to that. Right there. Right there. It's on the A of Father. Oh. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's really cool. Okay, so we have a video production thing as well as another sonic thing to go over here. So this sounds like it has the same effect as if they were to add a chorus of people into it, but really it's just it sounds like two vocal takes that they just added a little bit of echo and some maybe that was just reverb and another chorus effect too for that backing vocal to really fill it out, and it served exactly the purpose it sounded like they were trying to. But also to watch the video as that camera is moving, if you see they're actually holding something in their hand that's moving the camera, that's a who does that? DJI's action camera. They have a selfie stick that they sell for it, that there is software built into that little action camera that will automatically delete the selfie stick from the footage, so it looks like you're just holding nothing. So that's a really cool implementation of that. We're gonna go back, see. Oh, damn, great! Look at this. All right, so you have fisheye. Oh, hey, we're working on a fisheye video actually for a new channel I'm about to start. But so you got the fisheye effect. So yeah, this is very. I mean, it could be the 3D camera. DJI has a 3D camera, or it could be the GoPro 3D camera, because they both have this same software built in. But you look at his hand, he's obviously holding something. And yeah, that was a really cool. And they've got, obviously, it's a new high-end action camera, so it's got like crazy high frame rate, so you can do really cool things with slow motion while you're doing that. But we're gonna go back a little bit more. Yeah, right there. See, you can see it in his hand here too. It's a little harder because of the visual effect that they have right here. But yeah, and the fisheye effect, so everything's round. That's just a cool looking. Look at that. Okay, so as much as that's a cool effect on the vocal, I think that they're trying to do two things, and they're only succeeding well with one. They're doing the other one as well, but you really have to listen to it to pick it out. So we already talked about the first one where they're filling out the sound. It's a sonic landscape thing. Make it sound bigger than it is with the vocals. So that's already, so what I'm hearing here is it's a 3-part harmony, and the two that are they go kind of progressively lower in volume, so they're further and further away from you. Those two, probably the 3rd and 5th, or 5th and 7th, somewhere in that neighborhood of the chord that they're singing, could have been bumped. Like, you could have added a little bit of gain to that just to give it that much more presence, so that you could really hear all of those layers together. Because right now it's taken a lot of my ear to focus on the vocal, and then if I'm just focusing on the vocal that hard, you're going to lose some of the cool stuff they're doing on the instrument. So I probably would have brought that gain up a little bit more in the mix on those two backing vocal, the harmony lines. That's honestly probably the first time I've ever heard something in a Dead South song. I was like, oh, I probably would have done that differently. So we're going to go back again. We're going to listen to it. That comes through, but it's only because the extra gain comes from the singer. And then you lose them again. And a little bit of break there on the signal again. That's cool. That's fun. All right. Yeah, no, I dig that. Oh, we got a little bit of time left in the video. What else happens at the end of this? Nothing? Nothing. All right. That was a lot of fun. Oh, that was a lot of fun. Final thoughts on the Dead South. Oh. So their cover of Chop Suey is a lot of fun. I'm not gonna say that I didn't like it, because I did. Like I said, there was the one thing I would have probably done different, just so that final element had more effect and was a little more present. But by and large, it was still fun. I think this is probably, honestly, one of the weaker Dead South songs I've ever listened to, though. That's not to say it's bad. Again, I think it was great. It was a lot of fun. We should do this again sometime. But I may be a little better next time. I feel like covers are a good thing as long as either you live up to the quality of your name or the quality of the name that you're covering. At least one of the two of those, preferably both. And I don't think they did either. I feel like their original stuff comes out better than this did, and so obviously the System song is the better version, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed myself, and that's, I think, where we're going to kill this reaction video. Thank you very much, nerds, for joining me for another Nerdy Reacts. There is the weekly news show. I believe this one will be going up after we are already back, so check out every Wednesday on Generally Nerdy for your pop culture, nerd news, and headlines and all of the things. And we also do a live stream on Fridays, which probably won't be back by the time this goes up. So Fridays around about 7:30 Mountain Time is when we do the live stream. It's a live news show on the first half, and then we just play video games and talk about stuff on the second half. So join me on Fridays, again, Generally Nerdy on YouTube. And that's where we're going to leave this one. Thank you very much, nerds. Before we go, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.